Well, good day to you. This is Sam from the Parenting Pause channel, and we are going to be trying something new here for you all to encourage you all in your parenting journey. I'm going to be uploading 3 videos a week, probably 15, 20 minutes in length, just to be able to encourage you with some parenting topic, parenting help, and also to kind of document our journey as parents for whoever may listen or watch, even for our own kids. They can hear from myself, hear from my wife, and whoever else comes to kind of glean whatever small amounts of wisdom that we've been able to obtain over the many years of parenting. So we're going to be doing 3 videos a week. And if you are interested in a topic, a parenting topic specifically for you, please let me know. You can make a comment or you can share on our social media pages a topic that is very important to you. I definitely think we're going to get into social media and phones, devices. We're going to get into gender and identity. We're going to get into rebellion. We're going to get into their future plans. We're going to talk about seasons of life. Many other in repairing the broken relationship. That's something that we've talked a lot about over the years. So, I will encourage you to follow the channel, keep following, and look for content to come through 3 times a week. So we have today, Wednesday, probably get another one on Friday or Saturday, and then starting next week 3 times. So I wanted to give a little background on us real quick, so you know who we are. Me and my wife, Patricia, have been married. We're going to be 27 years. We have 3 kids, Jasmine, who's 26, who's married, Jonathan, who's 21, about to be 22, and Isabel, who is 19. Jonathan and Isabel both still live here at home. So we homeschool our kids all the way through from day one. And that could be another topic, another topic of journey we can talk about some other time. We live in Georgia. We've been in Georgia for almost 19 years now. I am from Maine. My wife is from Peru, from Lima, South America. Again, we'll get into some of that too down the road as you get to know our family just a little bit. So what I wanted to talk about today is something that we continue to realize as we look back on our parenting journey, as we think about now, all the different things that we've learned over the years. I want to encourage you today. But before that, I wanted to share with you that whenever we talk in conferences or in churches or in groups, we always encourage the parents to find that one thing, the one thing that you came to listen for. And a story I use is from a ministry that we have been following for a lot of years. And Norm Wakefield is a great godly man, and he has a ministry to parents about young boys. And so what happened was with a conference that we were a part of, homeschool conference in Atlanta. My wife and kids have been speaking at this conference for 10 years now. Jonathan was probably 12 or 13 years old, and we were having some hard times with him. And so we decided to go to Norm Wakefield's session in the same conference where we were speaking. And we heard something, and my wife heard something that we really needed to hear. And that phrase, or that the thought was, he shared that when, and the session was about middle school boys, or like young teen boys. And he said that as they become older, you have to treat them as young men, treat them as young adults, especially the guys, because they are growing up, they're growing into their manhood. And yes, we're going to say things like that, gender, manhood, things, as the Bible talks about genders. That'll be another topic we'll hit into, I'm sure. But so he said, treat them as young men. And so that really changed my wife and I's perspective of how we were raising Jonathan. Sometimes we raised him and talked to him in ways that he was a young boy, young child. And he was rebelling against that. And, had some other emotional results from that. So we changed our perspective and way of handling Jonathan. And so that was that one thing we were needing to hear. And so as we go through this journey of parenting, going through different topics, I would encourage you to look for that one thing that you came to listen for. You um, you're not going to remember everything that anybody says, like whether it's a sermon from a pastor or a youth leader or a conference. You're not going to remember the whole thing, but you'll remember one thing. And we look back on that time when we heard the one thing from Brother Wakefield, that changed our entire trajectory and journey with our son. So I encourage you, even as we talk today, as I share with you, look for that one statement, the one thing that maybe you came to hear. And again, look for your feedback in the comments section. Look for your feedback on social media pages. That would be pretty cool. We're also going to look to try to improve our look, improve the technology piece of it. I don't have a lot of time to get into that, though our son is really good at it. So anyway, I have a baseball in my hand. I always like to have a baseball in my hand. That's just me, and I have my coffee cup as well. So let's get into the topic of the day. And again, as we look back on our parenting journey, we realize something, that we only have one opportunity to do it. We have one opportunity to raise our kids. That's something that can be kind of scary, right? Because as you look in different areas and aspects of your life, whether it's finances or health, a lot of times you can go back and try to fix things. You can go back and try to do better. You can go on a better diet or budget your money better. Or maybe it's some other friendship. You can start over. You can apologize. But when it comes to specifically raising your kids, training them up, you have one time to do it. You don't get to do over, because what's going to happen is, as we've noticed, again, our kids are up. Jonathan and Isabel are still in the house, but they're going to be probably moving on soon. You don't get to go back and try again. Like, they're going to be up and out of the house. They're going to be gone one day. They're going to be married, or they're going to be moved out, roommates. They're going to maybe off to college, and they're going to be gone. You can't get that time back. You can't get that training opportunity back. You just can't do it. Again, many other areas of life you can have a redo, but not this one. And so as you think about that, again, that can be scary, though that's also, excuse me, that also can be comforting. That also can be a good thing, because as you're thinking about the one opportunity you get, maybe it'll help you to really focus in on it. My wife and I now have so much time on our hands because our kids have their own lives and do their own thing. And the two of them are home, but they're not home a lot, and they have friends and other things that they do, jobs, they go places and things like that. But so we have a lot of time on our hands, which is a wonderful thing, right? So my wife and I get to enjoy dating all the time because we're here in our home. Or we get to go out. We have freedom to go out and do things that we like to do. But back in those days, we didn't have that. Now, we did go out and do some dates sometimes, but it wasn't like we had a lot of freedom, because we really poured into them, like for that season. Like, we poured in, we homeschooled them all the way through. A lot of our lives were not centered around them, but they were based on them. And a lot of your parents know that, right? Your kids' parents, your kids, they don't necessarily demand your attention, but the things that they do and the activities that they do demand your attention, whether it's sporting events, school stuff, whatever it may be. Your schedule in life really depends on them, and you lean on what their schedule is. Like, your schedule follows theirs, whatever that may be. Even if they're young, maybe you're taking them and carting them around everywhere. Sleeping, them getting sick, going to the doctors. All you have to drop a lot of your things just for them. And that makes sense. There's a season for that. But then as they get older, as you get older, you're going to have a lot of time for yourselves. And we're enjoying that, I must say. We don't really miss the old days. We do miss it, but only in kind of sentimental ways. We look at pictures and things like that. But again, during those years of our kids' teen years, of their growing up, we went all in. We gave, not that we did everything they said. We gave them all the attention, but we made them top priority. My wife stayed home. I worked sometimes 2-3 jobs. I still have 3 jobs. I work for the state. I'm a youth leader in church, and I do baseball umpiring during this spring and summer. But even then, when I was working a lot, I made an effort to give top priority to them when I came home. I mean, I gave them attention. Now, it wasn't like I was obsessed with giving them attention, like they're the center of the universe. No. But I made sure that I spent time with them. I listened to them. I asked questions with them. I went out to throw the ball around with them. I took them out for an ice cream, or we didn't have much money and still really don't. But I made sure that I made my time with them a priority. Because again, I realized that there's one shot to do it, one time to invest in their upbringing, invest in their growing up, invest in their in your kind of authority with them, where you can kind of tell them and what to do. You can tell them what's right, what's wrong. When they get older, you can't really tell them anymore. Even what's right and what's wrong, you do have influence, but you don't have that authority. Big difference, influence and authority. We'll talk about that too down the road. But you get one time. And, I would encourage you, parent, today to kind of evaluate your priorities, evaluate what you're putting your own time into. Again, I'm not saying sacrifice your whole life for them, but knowing that you only have one time really does rework those priorities. It really reworks what you're thinking about. Again, whatever it is personally you want to do with your own time in life, sometimes things are kind of forced upon you and you have to. But there's some things that we make choices with our time. We make choices how we spend our own personal time. And sometimes we have to give those things up. I gave up a lot of hobbies, not hobbies, but things like sports. Now I watch sports whenever I want. I gave it up. I gave up watching sports. I gave up following sports a lot of times. Now I knew things. But I didn't make it a priority for me personally. And we have friendships, and we made those important, but we didn't make that priority. And so I would encourage you to kind of see where you're at now, to see if you're making your kids a priority. You're there for them when they want to talk. You're engaging with them, asking them questions. You know kind of what they're involved in. You know their friends. You know what they're thinking about a lot of things. Now not gonna know everything, but you're gonna know you know who their friends are and what they're interested in, where their thought processes are about different things, especially when they're teenagers. So you need to really make that a priority and get engaged and be engaged in it. We'll talk about that too a lot. How to get engaged, like when your kids aren't engaged with you or are not engaging with you. How do you do it? How to gain the trust in their lives. So we're going to talk a lot about that as well. But today's idea is that you need to make it a priority because you only get one time. There's no do-overs. There's no going back. You could do a lot of I wish, woulda, coulda, shoulda. You could do that, but you want to try to mitigate that as much as possible now. You want to take a look at what your activities are, what your conversations are about, to make sure your kids really are a priority at this stage in their lives. Maybe your kids are undisciplined in their time, undisciplined in their behaviors, undisciplined in what they say. Maybe there's friendships that you don't think are very good for them. See, now's the time to get engaged. Now's the time to get engaged. It's not later. As a parent, you kind of have the internal instinct. For believers, it's the Holy Spirit that kind of reminds you, hey, I got to deal with this. I got to deal with this. I got to deal with this. I got to work on this. My kids there's something they're saying or doing that you're like, not quite sure about that. Now's the time to get involved. Now's the time to get engaged. Or even if you're not going to get engaged right now, but you have to give it priority in your thinking, priority with your spouse, priority with even in friendships. Maybe you want to talk to a friend, pastor or friend. Hey, look, my kids are saying something, they're doing something, I'm concerned about it, what do I do? See, that's evidence that you're making that a priority. Again, not saying you got to do it all for them all the time, that's all you're thinking about. But now's the time when the alarm bells come, when the red flags come of your kids, that you're addressing it and dealing with it. You're making it a priority for you and your spouse. Again, this is kind of a new mindset, but again, I say it, all of it to say, again, you have one time to do it right, one time to deal with things. Sometimes your kids are dealing and thinking and doing things you're concerned about, and you don't deal with it. Then you move on and they move on, but you haven't dealt with whatever that is with them, and things pile up, things get busy, other stresses come out, and you're going to wish you would have dealt with that at the time. Again, that's when you realize you have one opportunity to raise your kids. Things like that come up, you're going to be ready to jump on them. Maybe not jump on them, but you're going to be ready to deal with them more quickly. Yeah, I mean, I have so many examples. I worked in 11 years in child welfare in a big metro Atlanta county, and I saw a lot of just family dynamics and situations. I've been a youth leader for 10 years, two different churches, seen a lot. And I've seen kids grow up, you know, kids that I used to know when they were little kids have grown up, even they're married and have their own families. Again, reminding that those moments when you have with your kids, those are fleeting moments, and they're going to be gone one day. They're going to be making their own decisions. They're going to be forming their own friendships. They're going to be going to their own church. But so as you kind of like you work backwards, that's the end, is them on their own and what that will mean. And then you work backwards and say, okay, is there something I need to deal with now that will perhaps influence and help down the road? Again, my wife and I look and see God's hand of faithfulness in our lives and see our kids all in their directions and what they're doing in life. And we are thankful that we, for the most part, made our kids priority since day one. See, now we're able to reap kind of the benefits of that with peace. And, Thanksgiving is here tomorrow. Their kids are going to come. We're going to celebrate. Some of them are going to go in their own direction. But again, that's because for 20 plus years, we gave it our all inside our home. And I encourage you, parent, to give it your all with your kids inside your home today. So again, thank you so much for listening. And I hope this and pray this encourages you in your walk with your kids. Like I said, if you have some other topics you would like us to tackle and talk about, please leave a comment. You can reach out to me by email, parentingpause7@gmail.com. parentingpause7@gmail.com. Forward to hearing from you. And thanks so much for taking the time to listen today. We'll post today, post something Friday or Saturday, and then we'll get going our 3 times a week. Take care. Have a great Thanksgiving. And I'm thankful for you.